Okay, well, good evening. And my name is Terry Estrada, and I'm a watercolor artist. I've already gone live today once, but I wanted to come back just because I really need to get my postcards done. I've got 100 postcards that I'm trying to get done before September 6th for the upcoming Wine Art Festival in Eufaula, Oklahoma. So tonight, this evening, I'm going to, I've drawn them, pre-drawn some seashells, different varieties, and I've drawn them darker than what generally I would, just so that it could be you could show up on the video. So now I'm going to use my kneaded eraser, and I'm going to just take off the graphite, the extra graphite on my artwork with my kneaded eraser. And just kind of give it a roll. I just need a light understanding of where my picture was for me to know. I don't know if you are aware of how watercolors work. Watercolors are very transparent pigments, and graphite, once covered with pigment, does not erase. So now if you're using a dark color such as black, or a darker, sorry about that, a darker color paint, then your pencil marks most likely wouldn't matter. But because most of the seashells that I know are pretty light color, I'm going to try to get as much graphite off my paper before I start painting. Okay, and so like I did with the chickens I had done earlier, I'm going to start with the upper left corner, just because it's furthest away from me, and I don't want to have to continue to reach over my page. So I'm going to use my new Winsor Newton size 6 round brush with my Daniel Smith watercolor paints. I'm going to go into just clean water, and I'm going to initially just start on the outside part of this shell. I'm not going to try to get up too close to the other side of it, because this is the side that's going to be in the shadow. So I'm just using clean water, and on each bottom side of each layer of the shell, I am going to just get it wet. And as they get tiny, I'll just dab it. So I'm going to use a purple to do my shadow, and let's see, my paper should still be wet enough to just dab in the color. If it's not wet enough, I'm just gonna add some more water here. It'll get lighter at the little tip of the seashell, and not necessarily come all the way. So my goal is to definitely have at least 50 cards done, if not the whole 100. But I'm having difficulty finding little categories on, you know, what to do as in a group. Since I'm painting multiple paintings in one sitting, I'd like to try to keep them as a group. Sometimes it's not always possible, but that went a little too dark on me, so I'll have to lighten these up. Just with clean water, I'm going to dab off a little, just underneath. Okay. I don't want hard edges, so I'm going to add a little bit more water on these right here where it got a little too dark. If my camera's shaking, I apologize. I'm a little close to the tripod. There we go. And I believe this color is Imperial Purple. Daniel Smith's Imperial Purple. And so on the opposite side, I'm going to go into Buff Titanium, which is an opaque kind of tan color. Opaque just means that it's not easily seen through. So I want to just come on this other side. I'm just going to do some dashes real quick, just because I want these two to blend, but not super mix. I'm quiet, I apologize. Here we go. There. Now I'm going to go back into that Buff Titanium, and I'm going to add a little bit of quinacridone gold. And it's going to make it an orangey color. And we're going to put that on the top part of each level. And this kind of gives that round feeling. Oh, okay. I'm going to dry that off, and I'm going to come back in it. Just with a dry paintbrush, soak that up. Oh, I see what's hitting. I was like, why is that hitting? There we go. Let's see if I can't back this way. There we go. That tip kind of got away from me over here. So on this outer side, this outer edge, I'm going to use a little bit of opera pink and go into that orangey color, which will make me kind of a peachy color, a light peach. Need some fresh water. Just gonna come on the outer edge of it. Now rinse off my brush, go into some clean water, dab off my brush just so I can control where the water is going to go, and backfill that. Okay, so while those steps are drying, because I want it to be completely dry, I'm going to add some stripes to that later. So while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and move on to, I want to call this a nautilus shell, because I erased those watching now. You can't really see the shape that I'm going for, but I'm going to go in with a clean brush, clean water, and I am just going to go on the outside of this with a pretty good puddle size drop of water and outline this shell all the way around on the outer edge. Because this is a spiral shell, it'll go there we go. Hopefully y'all can pick up the shininess of the paper there. Kinda. Go this outer edge too. Here comes some fun. Okay, I'm going to go into phthalo blue, and it's kind of my go-to ocean color. And I'm just going to start at the tip. I'm going to, with just fresh paint, and then there were like little squiggly lines every other spot. And so I'm going to put this phthalo on every other spot there. That one might need more water. Watercolor paper is very thirsty paper. Pick up some more just fresh clean water, and in between just add some more water. Okay, now I'm going to go into Aussie red, which it's not really red, it's kind of an orange red, but I'm going to go into the Aussie red, which is going to push I don't know if you could see that. It will push that phthalo blue completely out of the way, and it'll do its own little thing. Okay. It's kind of turned messy right here, but I don't mind that. Things in nature are not always perfect. Remember, if you don't like something, and this is puddling up here, so I definitely don't like that. You can take it away. Just gonna go into clean water. Help these little orange squiggles go in. When my brush gets a little dirty, I'm just going to take it off and just help it along. Okay, so, oh, a little water on that side. Clearly this is gonna also need time to dry up. I really like what it did though. I like the edges. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and move to the one right below it is a scallop. And this one we get to do the whole scallop shell. So we don't even have to worry about colors mixing. We're just gonna go in. My brush still has a little bit of hint of that orangey color, but I don't mind that. Oh. Scallops kind of have these like beautiful little ridges on it. Again, this is just plain water. There we go. All right. I'm going to go into, I believe this might have been quinacridone magenta here. And I'm just going to touch and just see where it goes. do have a fan next to me that's blowing, so I'm wondering if it's drying my paper out before I'm able to get to where I need it. There we go. So I'm going to shape this water puddle back up. Just to the parallel line of where I have these, the edges coming out. I don't want any color right there, or not color yet. So because I rinsed my brush and then I dry my brush, the brush is now thirsty and it'll pick up whatever is left on the page. There we go. Pretty, 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 pretty. Boom, boom, boom. Just drop in some color. If you like darker pigments. And you can color your shells any color you want. I'm just trying to do different colors. If I found it on the beach, I would take it home. And scallops, they not only have ridges that are colors that go left to right, but they have ridges that come up and down the shell. So while my page is still damp, I can go in and follow my line. Isn't that cool? I'm just wiping my brush off after each pull. I'm wiping it off to re-dry the brush. And again, I want to reshape over here. And if any water flows back, then just go back over the same. We're getting back the white to the white of our paper. We're also displaying the shape of our shell. There we go. I really like that. Okay, so we'll let that one dry. This one is completely dry now, so I can go back to that one. And what we're gonna try to do is kind of vertical stripes of a greenish brown mix that I have already on my page, and that was a combination of phthalo blue and quinacridone gold and quinacridone burnt orange, I believe. So I generally have a line of phthalo blue at the bottom of my palette just because the way my table leans. So so now we're going to come back up to this shell, And again, I don't know the names of these shells. I'm just here to paint. And we're going to put like almost like tiger striping on them. So zebra, tiger, I'm not really certain. I think it might be a dangerous shell if it's having stripes on it, but I honestly couldn't tell you what the name of it was. And I'm only putting it on the flatter side of the shell. My arm just went into my scallop. I'm gonna have to quickly get that off and re-protect that. Sorry about that. Okay, now I can go back into my color. This goldy color that I've made, and I will try to keep my arm out of it. By the time you get to the shorter sides, you're really not going to see a lot of detail. So I'm just kind of dabbing just to say, yeah, there might be something to it. Okay, I'm going to pull in now with my brush and the paint that I've already mixed up here. I'm going to pull in a little bit more of this quinacridone. I believe that, yeah, burnt orange. Almost had a stroke there. All right, and here we're going to darken this area up. And again, we don't want any hard edges here where you can see my line. So I went and cleaned my brush off, and so it's damp, and it's not wet, it's just damp, and I'm just going to clean that edge up and drag that to the end of the shell, just so I don't have a hard edge. There we go. Other than putting like I don't know that I will, like a shadow or sand or a sand color, this shell is going to be complete. So this one's done. So now let's move back over to our nautilus shell, I believe. I hope I'm not saying that wrong, but anyways. So now, it's not all the way dry. I still see some puddling right up at the top. And I need it to be dry. So let me, yeah, we can go to the scallop. Okay, so the scallop, you saw me put the lines on it. And I'm gonna dip my brush into clean water. I'm going to go back into that color that we used, and now I kind of want to round off this shape. At the tip of a scallop, it always kind of comes out just a bit. But I didn't want to paint that while ago because, oh, there's my smudge. There we go. And clean my brush off, dab it, and make a softer edge. There we go. So if we think that each line has a front and a back, so because they're groovy, not like, you know, anyways, the shell itself is going to have a raised edge. And so we need to decide which side is the highlighted side and which side is the low lighted side. The shadow, which side is in the shadow. So I am going to feel like if I just come up underneath each one. So I'll do it that way. And we can do it in dash lines where the color was placed. So it's already not making it look not flat anymore, not flat paper. Just reminding myself to go on this side of the shell. That was a little dark. I'll go and pick that up. And here's that last line, and then we can round these off. So I know I talked about the art festival in Eufaula, which will be again September 6th. I wanted to also state that on August 4th, which will be a Monday, August 4th, and at 5 o'clock, I'll be teaching an art class at the local library. The library has said that they're going to provide the paint brushes and, oh, I'm sorry, this is buff titanium, same color I used as the base of this side over here. I'm going to now put on these little side wings. I don't even know what these are called. I'm just going to call them side wings. Anyways, so August 4th, August 4th at 5 p.m. It's free to the public, and the more people that show up, the better chances are that there'll be a second class. And I had plans on teaching some ocean scenes to one really super simple, and then one just a little bit more advanced. But there was no need for any kind of worry about talent or technique or anything else, because that's my job to teach. So that's what I would love to, for anybody who'd like to come out to, and I'll post as it gets closer. So I've laid down that color, but I want it even lighter, so I'm going to dab just tiny bits of it out. There we go. And I also noticed something while I was painting. Do you see this darker spot right there? I really like that. So I might go back in and find this color and add a little bit more pigment to it so that I could like drop some extra color somewhere. Almost like there's holes in the shell or something. Probably not too many, but like on purpose. Drips or accidents, you know? And again, this will be your shell. You can do it whatever color you want and however style you want. I don't want to gild the lily. Take off some of. Oh. And in a minute, I can actually show you what I was thinking about preparing. All right. I hadn't had plans to add this pink color to it, but the more I saw it, it was like calling out for a different color. So I don't, again, necessarily know what color a shell like this would be, but that's, so this is my scallop shell, and I'm going to call this one done. So now we're done with 2 so far, and this one still has too much wet on it. So now we're going to move on then to the conch shell. Now the conch shell is going to have a pinker inside than what I've used for the this or even the scallop. So I'm going to grab some more opera pink and I'm going to put it on my palette so that I can prepare a puddle. Watercolor has a tendency to dry pretty quickly, so if you don't get your colors moist enough in advance, then you're just kind of stuck with dry paper, and that would cause blooms, or sometimes blooms are good things. Like over here there's some granulation because that Aussie red has granulation in it, which is going to cause some, it'll look like texture in your paint, which is a beautiful thing when you want it. And when you don't want it, you know, then we understand, you know, not everybody is in love with that kind of idea. So I think this is still dark enough in the graphite area to where you can still see it. I'm going to just this inside, or that very outer part, I'm going to come in with my opera pink. Mix there. And give it a good dousing of color. Okay, sorry about the shaking. Okay, so now I'm gonna pick up just clean water and scrumble this opera pink down. So by adding water, I'm actually taking off pigment and making it, it'll dry lighter. We want the base of this conch shell to be lighter in that pink, but I really like the hot pink of it. I'm going to push that pigment up. Opera Pink also has some granulation in it, so you can almost see me pushing the granules of the pink there to the edges and to the tip of our conch. All right. All right, so now I am going to go into my buff titanium with a clean water paintbrush, and we're actually going to do a full sweep of buff titanium from this tip all the way to the very bottom tip of my conch. And we can add water as we go just to move it along. And I can still see my graphite pencil marks. I know where the shell is going to end and begin. And I'm missing the center section. That's not going to get a color right now, because that's the part where, like, if you were to blow in a conch shell, that would be the part that you would wrap around your hand, and you'd blow at this end, doot, and make that noise. Y'all just heard me toot on national. No, I'm teasing. So I'm gonna go grab some more paint. Got a good amount of water on here. I'm just wanting to move around the pigments. Okay, so I've got my base color down dry. Yeah, it's still wet. So because both of my bigger shells are still wet, I'm going to bring out my heated craft tool, and this is not a hairdryer. Whoa, stop rolling. This is an actual craft tool that you can burn things up with it if you're not careful. So try to always be careful. And while I have it out, I'll just go ahead and dry that conch shell as well. Amanda, did you hear me toot toot? I meant with the conch shell, not. You gotta know me to love me. Alright, and the very last drop of water on that conch shell is gone. Alright, So there we go. But we're going to go to the Nautilus. So I'm going to go into my clean water, and I'm going to put some droplets into my phthalo blue. I want to get a good watery mix of it. Not too strong of a watery mix, but remember I said I had a line of phthalo blue here. That's what happens, is that I always get too much phthalo on my brush. And you are my kind of people, baby girl. And yep. So we are going to go on the inside of the Nautilus shell. And the inside, of course, is going to be where the creature would have lived had it stayed alive. And it's going to be the darkest part of our whole shell. And that's why I needed it to be dry. Amanda, tell your mama that I said hello, and I was sorry I didn't get to say hi to her at convention. Rain ended up getting really sick, and boy, I just nearly got scared to death, but it was my cat, I'm sure, hitting the window telling me it wants in. Okay, so now I just picked up like straight phthalo blue, and you can see how beautifully dark it is. And I'm just gonna let it run its business with my puddle of water that I just laid down. And so with that being said, now I'm going to also go back to these, like, remember I told you that they had like little squiggly lines every other one? So where the phthalo blue has crashed out, I don't know what happened here. Maybe it got confused of which one was going to be phthalo blue. I'm just bringing like little squiggly lines to the edge. Alyssa, I had painted earlier, and I didn't have very many people online, so I thought, you know what, before I go to bed, what am I going to do? I'm just going to sit here anyways and want to paint, and why not just go back online? So I just kind of want to empty these dead spaces. And I can go back into my Aussie red and add some squiggles this way too. All right. Look at that puddle. Ooh, look at it. Now, if y'all want to see something really amazing, what watercolor can do, I'm just going to dab, 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 dab. Okay. So, with that heated craft tool, should I don't know. Okay, so I don't know if y'all can see, but like if I lift up my board, it's got a huge puddle of that phthalo. But if I angle my heated craft tool to kind of push that puddle to the corner, the outer side is definitely going to dry a lot lighter than where it's puddling. And it'll give my inside of my shell its very own ombre, and I won't have to go back over it like 1,000 times. It's almost dry. Okay, still almost dry, but I feel like y'all can see it dry in real time. You can see the puddling has intensified down into the intensified down into the thing. There we go. So it looks like it's already naturally deep inside the Nautilus shell, which, there we go. Okay, so Nautilus, done. You're done. I don't know the name of this one. My scallop is done, so now the only thing we've got to do is put the finishing touches on our conch, and then, ladies, we will be finished. Oh, I love you too, baby. All right, so on this outer side, we're gonna kind of make it dirty. We're gonna use some of that phthalo blue that I had before, and some of that Aussie, I put Aussie red right there. So it looks a little too orange, so I'm gonna go grab here's some more blue. Grab some more blue into it, because I need this kind of a mossy greenish brown, and that's exactly what I just made. So I make little puddles of weird colors for a living. Wouldn't y'all like to do that? Make weird colors of things for a living. I'm pulling in some quinacridone gold just to make it a little bit on the browner side. So we need to highlight that this edge is white. So we're going to use the white of the paper here, and so I'm going to start almost like we're doing an outline of it, and in a minute, you guys know, I'm going to rinse my brush off, get it wet, and then pull out the softer edge. So before that has a chance to dry, I've cleaned my brush. It only had clean water on it. So now I'm gonna pull the edge so that it's not a sharp one. Scrabble, scrabble, scrabble. This is kind of just giving that lip of the conch a shadow. Just scrubbing it in. And then work it out. Okay, and then we're also going to add some of the same color that I created in a little bit more watered down. So I added just a drop of water to it, and we're going to just kind of dab some color here and behind each one of these ridges that it has. And as I'm going up, my water's running out of my brush, but you can still see. I'm going to get into some fresh water, and I want to unsharpen that edge right there. Just clean, fresh water. Do, 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 do. Okay. I feel like that looks really good. I might add some more just of like overall in general, like I don't even know what you'd call these, like not ridges, I guess. I don't know, maybe ridges of what a conch would have. I've honestly never seen this shell in real life. but again, we don't want hard edges. So I'm going to use the whole of my brush, and I'm letting the top end put color down, but the bottom part soaking it up. All right. I feel like that might, oh, you know what? No, I got to darken. I was like, maybe I'm done, but I'm not done. I'm going to add some of that opera pink into oh, you can see it on my mixing. Opera pink into the color that we used on the outer shell. This just joins those two colors together, meaning that because I've got it here, once I've added that dark color to this pink, then they're sisters. They share the same family members, and it doesn't make it look super off. And so we want this edge to have a shadow, like it's still pink, but we know that there's shadows in it. So I'm gonna have my brush have opera pink in it when I come back in to do the sharp edge, just because I want to add an extra layer of color to this without taking away anything. If I were to just come in with a wet brush, opera pink gets unsettled by that. It does not enjoy being re-wet, and will actually leave the room. It will say, we're done. She's a diva. She is definitely, for the opera here, she is definitely a diva pink. And there we go. So I've added, again, like a little bit of, killed it. I don't even have bananas out, and I've got fruit flies. So I don't know what that was. All right. Got a little bit more water on here than what I wanted, but she's thirsty. All right. I don't think I'm missing anything. Conch shells are, kind of grimy anyways, right? A little grimy. So I can add some green. Just to kind of give it some interest. Saying like a hermit crab, or maybe it was laying on a beach, and that's it. I do kind of want to add just some buff titanium to this edge right here, just to simply say, you know, it's not just white. It's got shadows too. White does have shadows, but we want the majority of this thing to be white. But sometimes that little white ridge has like imperfections. I want to say it was like mother of pearly color or whatever on that side. So giving it a little hint of color is not going to hurt my feelings. There we go. All right, there is my, oh, let me pull this down. There's my set of shells for 4x6 postcards, and they're gonna be on sale starting September the 6th at the Wine and Art Festival in Eufaula. So what I did earlier was these chickens. I did a set of chickens. So we called her Basil. She was a big, fat, fluffy butt chicken. And then we had, I'm just going to call her Henrietta. She was our chicken that's laying us 1,000 eggs because, you know, with egg prices going up, we definitely need our chickens to lay. And then here is female version of Hey Hey. I don't know if you can tell. She just kind of came out of the egg that way. And little funny things. And then we have Short Charlemagne. He's a shorty Bantam, and he's a lover, not a fighter. And so yeah. And then I did a set of sweet treats. Is this called a sweet treat? Yes, yes. Smells like a sweet treat? Yes, it is a sweet treat. Okay, so my family did not enjoy my last one. I'll put my finger on it, and then I'm going to flip it over real quick. There we go. So they had me repaint, and here's our newest addition. We're calling it a mango berry crema. And then we have the double sharing popsicle, but you know, as a child I didn't like to share, so this sucker would have gone just to me. I wouldn't have shared. And then this is a rainbow pop. You can decide your flavors. And then this is our beautiful new color. This is Rose of Ultramarine, and it has a shift. Hold on, I want to show you the shift. So when it's being painted, it has the rose color, but it shifts to that ultramarine blue. So it is the most beautiful color while painting. I'm not certain if we're going to catch it on camera, but right about here you can see that there's the blue and the pink that marries together and makes this beautiful purple. But just, I mean, I would just love my bedroom to be this color right here. So anyways, now do you want to see the one that my family didn't enjoy as a sweet treat, which I thought looked like a one of them bougie, you know, chocolate bars, but I also thought it was a turkey leg. So it might be for sale and it might not be for sale. I don't know. But anyway, so here is my my first set was the sweet treats. Let me make sure that this is all dry before I put anything down. So the first set was sweet treats, and then my second set are horizontal chickens. Horizontal chickens. And then lastly, we've got our shells. So again, I've got 100 postcards to make, and I'm hopefully going to make my deadline by September 6th. But either way, I would love for y'all to come out and see me at the art festival, and please also think about coming to the local library here in McAlester, Oklahoma for the art class. that I'll be teaching August the 4th at 5 p.m. It's free, no charge. They will provide the stuff to paint. You will supply your body and hands, and I will supply the instructions. So the cards are going to be they're postcards, 4x6 postcards, and they are $5. So I really haven't thought about how to like do like the sets, but this is how I'm painting because I'm a mass production artist. No, I'm teasing, but I like to do things in multiple levels when they're this small, and it also helps me to stave off boredom because of my OCD and ADHD and things like that. So it was fun to do it this way. But if y'all have other sets that y'all can think of that that sets of 4, whether it be horizontal or vertical, just let me know. I've been mulling around different ideas. Farm animals might be next, or flowers, sets of flowers. I'm really not certain, but I enjoy the challenge. So this was a challenge for me because I had to hand draw every single one of these, and in order to do like these two right here were like super hard because you have to draw a straight line first, and then you draw the outer edge to do that Fibonacci sequence. That is what creates the spiral of a shell. Now, not the scallop, because scallops are flat, but these two definitely have to go by that sequence, and you want to try to get those layers proper. So, well, thank you so very much for watching, and hopefully I'll have another tutorial tomorrow. And if y'all like it better in the evening, please give me a comment what might be a better time for y'all to be watching. I do have something tomorrow though, in the afternoonish time, but other than that, I'll be available and looking forward to doing some more tutorials. Thank you so much, and y'all have a good night.